Gather round, dear listener, and allow me to weave you a tale of love, loss, and a mystery so deep it winds through the very soil of the earth. It is the story of Roseanne, a humble yet spirited farmer's daughter whose heart burned as fiercely as the summer sun over the sprawling fields of her small hometown. In a world where the simplest things, love, trust, and the nurturing of a land, were the threads that held life together, fate wove an unexpected tapestry of suspense and wonder. I invite you to lean in close, for this story is not told in chapters or parts, but as a single, flowing saga of heartbreak, courage, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Roseanne grew up on a farm that had been in her family for generations, a patchwork quilt of emerald fields, ancient orchards, and winding dirt roads that led to the distant horizon. The land was a living testament to her ancestors' hard work and perseverance. And it was here, amid the golden rows of corn and the sweet scent of ripening fruit, that she met Samuel. Samuel was as free-spirited as the wind that danced across the meadows. With eyes that sparkled like dew on a spring morning and a smile that promised adventure, he captured Roseanne's heart from the very first moment they met at the annual harvest festival. Their love blossomed with the slow, steady rhythm of the seasons. Samuel, whose family had long roamed beyond the borders of the little town, would come back every year with new stories and dreams of a future filled with promise. Roseanne, whose life was firmly rooted in the traditions of her family's farm, found in him a glimpse of a world where horizons expanded beyond the familiar fields. Together, they dreamed of a life where love was as constant as the sunrise, a life where they could build a future on the solid foundation of trust and the earth itself. Yet, as with all great tales, darkness loomed on the edge of their bliss. One fateful autumn evening, as the harvest moon rose high and bathed the fields in a silvery glow, Samuel vanished without a trace. One minute he was there, laughing with Roseanne as they planned their future beneath the ancient oak tree near the barn, and the next he was gone. No note, no farewell, just an empty space where his presence once warmed her soul. Roseanne was left reeling, the shock of his disappearance echoing in every crevice of her being. The days that followed were shrouded in a haze of disbelief and quiet despair. The gentle hum of the farm, the rustle of the wind through the corn, and the whisper of the earth beneath her feet all seemed to mourn the loss of Samuel. Yet, in the midst of her grief, a spark of determination was kindled, a determination to uncover the truth of what had happened to the man she so dearly loved. At first, the clues were as faint as the first blush of dawn. A torn scrap of fabric caught on the splintered fence near the old tool shed. A strange set of footprints leading away from the barn into the thick stand of woods bordering the property. And, most perplexingly, a series of cryptic symbols etched into a tree near the boundary of the farm, symbols that looked almost ritualistic in nature. With each clue, Roseanne felt both the sting of betrayal and the lure of a mystery that promised answers if she dared to follow its winding path. In the quiet solitude of the night, with the stars as her only confidants, Roseanne pored over every detail, every memory of that final day with Samuel. She recalled the way the wind had whispered secrets as they walked side by side, the soft cadence of his laughter and the warmth of his hand in hers. Every detail was a piece of the puzzle, every shared glance a clue that might lead her to him. And so, with the courage born of both love and desperation, she began her quest, a quest that would take her far beyond the familiar fields of her home and deep into the shadows of a world she had never known. Roseanne's journey took her first to the quiet, dusty roads that led to the outskirts of town, where old acquaintances whispered of strange happenings and secrets that were better left buried. She questioned the local grocer, the wise old mechanic at the corner shop, and even the kindly postmistress who always had an ear for a troubled soul. Each person she spoke to offered only fragments of information. Rumors of unusual visitors to the farm, hints of a secretive group that had been seen near the woods, and the unsettling feeling that Samuel's disappearance was no random act of fate, but something far more sinister. One misty morning, As Roseanne combed through the overgrown trails of the woods behind her family's land, she stumbled upon an old, rusted key lying amid the fallen leaves. It was intricately crafted, its metalwork delicate and ornate, a stark contrast to the rugged, utilitarian tools that surrounded her everyday life on the farm. The key, almost as if imbued with a silent promise, beckoned her forward. Clutched tightly in her hand, it became her talisman, a symbol of hope that whispered of hidden doors and long-forgotten secrets waiting to be unlocked. Days turned into weeks, and the mystery deepened. The clues led her to abandoned barns, to forgotten trails along the river, and to the dusty archives of the town's historical society. In the dim light of a creaking library, among stacks of yellowed papers and brittle records, she discovered accounts of mysterious disappearances from decades past. Stories of lovers torn apart by circumstance, of hidden covenants between powerful men, and of secrets that had been kept hidden beneath layers of time and silence. It was in these faded records that Roseanne began to see a pattern, a dark thread woven through the tapestry of the town's history, linking Samuel's disappearance with a series of events that had been carefully concealed by those in power. One name kept recurring in the whispers of the past, a name that sent shivers down her spine. Marshall, a man whose wealth and influence had shaped the destiny of the region for generations. The historical records hinted that Marshall, along with his enigmatic associates, had a hand in many of the town's unsolved mysteries. As Roseanne delved deeper, she unearthed the grim possibility that Samuel's kidnapping was not a random act of cruelty, but a calculated move by those who sought to control the flow of secrets and fortunes that pulsed beneath the idyllic surface of rural life. Armed with this new knowledge, Roseanne found herself stepping into a world of danger and deception. She began to receive anonymous notes, handwritten messages scrawled in hurried, uneven script, warning her to abandon her search, to forget about Samuel and the perilous truths he might have uncovered. But the love that burned within her, the same love that had once filled the fields with laughter and promise, refused to be silenced by fear. Each note, rather than deterring her, only stoked the flames of her resolve. In a daring move, Roseanne contacted a trusted friend from her childhood, a resourceful and clever journalist named Ethan, whose reputation for uncovering the hidden underbelly of small-town scandals was well known. Ethan agreed to help, intrigued by the tantalizing mixture of mystery and romance that now defined Roseanne's desperate quest. Together, they pieced together more clues from clandestine meetings and whispered confidences, venturing into abandoned warehouses and secretive estates that exuded an air of foreboding. Every step they took brought them closer to the truth, yet the path was fraught with treachery and unexpected twists. One chilly evening, as a dense fog rolled in from the river, Roseanne and Ethan found themselves drawn to an old, dilapidated farmhouse on the outskirts of town. The building, cloaked in shadows and silence, seemed to pulse with the secrets of a bygone era. Inside, they discovered a hidden room, its walls lined with cryptic symbols and relics of a secret society that had long been believed to be nothing more than a myth. Among these relics lay a series of photographs, each one capturing moments of clandestine meetings and secret exchanges. In one of these faded images, Roseanne's heart skipped a beat as she recognized Samuel, his eyes alight with a mixture of defiance and vulnerability. He was surrounded by men whose expressions were as hard as the iron gates that guarded their secrets, a stark contrast to the gentle soul she remembered. The revelation sent a shockwave through her, for it confirmed that Samuel had stumbled upon something monumental, a hidden truth that had cost him dearly. The faces in the photograph were those of influential figures whose names were spoken in hushed tones and whose power seemed to extend into every corner of the town. It was as if fate itself had conspired to hide the truth behind a veil of fear and intimidation. And now, with this explosive evidence in hand, Roseanne realized that her journey had become not just a quest for love, but a battle against the very forces that sought to keep the truth buried. The days that followed were a whirlwind of secret meetings and midnight rendezvous. Ethan, with his knack for navigating the labyrinth of local politics and corruption, managed to secure a meeting with a former associate of Marshall, a man whose conscience had driven him to abandon the shadowy world he once inhabited. In a dimly lit diner on the edge of town, over cups of lukewarm coffee and the clatter of silverware, the man recounted tales of hidden deals, of coercion and threats, and of a network so vast that it reached into every facet of community life. His voice trembled with regret as he confessed that Samuel's disappearance was merely one link in a chain of events designed to protect powerful interests. According to him, Samuel had inadvertently unearthed evidence that could topple the carefully constructed facade of control, a revelation that, if brought to light, would expose the sinister undercurrents that had long polluted the heart of the town. Armed with this damning testimony, Roseanne and Ethan knew that the stakes had risen higher than ever before. With every new clue, the net of intrigue grew tighter around them, and the threat of danger loomed large. Yet, in the face of adversity, Roseanne's determination only deepened. She began to experience vivid dreams, a surreal mix of memories and visions, where Samuel's face appeared in the flickering light of a candle, urging her to continue her search. In these dreams, the symbol she had discovered in the woods glowed with an almost ethereal light, guiding her along a path that seemed preordained by fate. One fateful night, as the wind howled outside and the rain drummed a relentless tattoo on the farmhouse roof, Roseanne received a call that would change everything. A hushed, trembling voice on the other end of the line spoke of a location, a deserted warehouse by the river, where Samuel was being held. The call was brief, its urgency palpable, and before Roseanne could ask questions, the line went dead. With her heart pounding like the distant roll of thunder, she knew that this was the moment she had been waiting for, a final opportunity to rescue the man who had captured her heart and to confront the malevolent forces that had torn them apart. Gathering her courage and the few belongings she could carry, Roseanne set out into the storm. The night was a symphony of rain and darkness, the landscape blurred by the relentless downpour and the flickering lights of passing cars. Every step toward the warehouse was a battle against fear, a struggle to overcome the primal urge to retreat into the safety of the familiar fields. But love, as powerful and mysterious as the earth itself, propelled her forward with a force that no storm could diminish. Upon reaching the warehouse, she discovered it to be a monolithic structure, its facade scarred by time and neglect. The building exuded an aura of foreboding, its broken windows like vacant eyes watching her every move. With trembling hands, she pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside, the musty air thick with the scent of decay and secrets. The interior was a labyrinth of corridors and forgotten rooms, each one echoing with the whispers of the past. Guided only by the faint light of her torch and the steady beat of her heart, Roseanne navigated the maze-like structure, following the directions that had been given to her. Deep within the bowels of the warehouse, she came upon a heavy metal door, slightly ajar. Her pulse quickened as she peered through the gap, and there, bathed in a pool of pale light, she saw him, Samuel. His eyes, though clouded with exhaustion and pain, flickered with a spark of recognition at the sight of her. For a moment, time stood still as the world around them faded into insignificance. Roseanne rushed forward, the weight of years of worry and longing lifting as she embraced him. Their reunion was bittersweet, a moment of profound relief intermingled with the stark realization of the horrors he had endured. Before they could exchange words, the echo of footsteps shattered the fragile silence. Figures emerged from the shadows, their intentions as dark as the night that enveloped the warehouse. It was clear that the kidnappers had anticipated her arrival, and in that moment, the delicate balance between hope and despair teetered on the edge of a knife. Roseanne, her heart pounding with a mix of terror and determination, knew that she had to act swiftly. In a burst of adrenaline, she and Samuel managed to slip away into the labyrinth of corridors, their escape marked by a frantic dance between light and shadow. What followed was a harrowing chase, a tense, pulse-quickening pursuit through the cavernous depths of the warehouse, where every echo of their footsteps was a reminder of the danger that lurked in every corner. The kidnappers, now aware of the breach, closed in with relentless precision. In the dim corridors, Roseanne's mind raced as she recalled every clue she had ever discovered, every whispered secret that pointed to this moment. It was as if the very symbols etched into the trees and the mysterious key that had become her talisman were guiding her toward a safe passage out of this nightmare. With Samuel's weak arm slung over her shoulder, she led him through a series of hidden passageways, an underground network of tunnels that wound beneath the warehouse like the roots of an ancient tree. The air was thick with dust and the scent of rust, and every step was a reminder of the peril that lay in wait. Yet, even in the oppressive darkness, a glimmer of hope shone like a beacon. The tunnels, though fraught with uncertainty, promised an escape, a path that would eventually lead them to safety and, perhaps, to the justice that was long overdue. As dawn crept over the horizon, casting a pale light over the ruined warehouse and the tangled undergrowth outside, Roseanne and Samuel emerged from the labyrinth. Their escape, though marked by the scars of fear and the weight of unspoken memories, was a triumph of the human spirit. In the early light of morning, as the mist clung to the fields and the world began to stir with the promise of a new day, the authorities arrived. The harrowing events of the night had been uncovered by Ethan's tireless investigations and the evidence she had gathered. In a swift and decisive operation, the kidnappers, the very faces that had haunted the shadows of the town for so long, were apprehended. Among them was a man whose name had long been associated with power and corruption, a man who now faced the full force of justice for his crimes. In the aftermath of that fateful night, the town was forever changed. Roseanne, once the gentle farmer's daughter with dreams as vast as the fields, emerged as a symbol of resilience and courage, a beacon of hope for all who had ever suffered in silence. The love between her and Samuel, though tested by darkness and despair, proved to be unbreakable, a love that had been forged in the crucible of adversity and emerged stronger for it. The mystery that had once threatened to consume them had been unraveled, its secrets laid bare for all to see, and with it, the corrupt forces that had held the town in their grip were finally brought to justice. The fields, once echoing with the quiet rhythms of daily life, now hummed with a renewed vitality. Neighbors gathered in the warmth of shared stories, each retelling of Roseanne's journey, adding a new layer to the legend that will be passed down through generations. And though the scars of the past would forever remain, a reminder of the pain and loss that had once threatened to tear the fabric of their lives apart, they also served as a testament to the enduring power of love and the unyielding strength of the human spirit. As the seasons turned and the land was bathed in the gentle glow of harvest moons and sunlit mornings, Roseanne and Samuel rebuilt not just their lives, but the very essence of what it meant to trust, to love, and to seek the truth no matter how perilous the path. In every whispered breeze that rustled through the golden fields, in every rustling leaf and every glimmer of dew on the grass, there was a quiet echo of their journey, a reminder that even in the darkest hours, hope can be found, and justice, though sometimes delayed, will always prevail. And so, dear listener, as you sit beneath the vast, star-studded sky, take heart from this tale, a tale of a farmer's daughter whose unwavering love became her greatest strength, of a man whose disappearance sparked a quest that would shake the very foundations of their world, and of a mystery that was solved not by brute force, but by the gentle persistence of truth. May this story serve as a beacon for all those who dare to follow the light, even when the night seems impenetrable, and may it remind you that the bonds of love and the thirst for justice can conquer even the deepest shadows. For in the end, it is not the darkness that defines us, but the brilliant spark of hope that endures in every heart. A spark that, like the first rays of dawn over a sleeping field, has the power to transform despair into a new beginning. And so, the legend of Roseanne and Samuel lives on, an eternal testament to the fact that even when the world seems engulfed in sorrow, The courage to seek the truth and to love unconditionally will always light the way. Thus ends our tale, a story of passion, perseverance, and the relentless pursuit of justice. A story that reminds us all that no matter how far one may wander, the ties that bind us to our loved ones and our home will always guide us back, illuminating even the darkest corners of our souls with the promise of a brighter tomorrow.